So let's go ahead together and build the YAML for our front end. So in here, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it as front end and then dot and then YAML. And then in here, I'm going to type deployment. So I'm getting auto completion there. And then for the name, app or match labels, and then containers, this will be front end, just like that. For the image will be Amigos code Kubernetes column, and then front end dash v1. And then for the port, this will be 80. So you've learned all of this. Now I'm going to press dash dash dash, and I'm going to type service, and I'm getting auto completion. And for the service, the metadata, this will also be name will be front end. For the selector, this will be front end. So this will match. So this metadata in here, the template for all of these pods. And for the port in here, I want 80. So this is the service port. And then this will forward to 80. So it will forward. So the target port corresponds to this one right here, which our front end is listening on. And one more thing that I need to do is, so oops, not there, but just before the selector, I'm going to say type. And then the type for this will be load and then balancer. Now what we need to do is open up customer deployment. And in here, so remember, I said that in our front end, if I look at the nginx conf and then at the very top, so server in here, so this is customer. So this is the cluster IP. So right, so this could be 192.168 yada yada, but basically I'm just saying customer, which is the name of the service, right? So we need to create this service as well. So close this. And then let me just collapse this as well. Open up customer deployment. And in here, let's create another service. So this will be 3 dashes and then service. And this will be customer. And then for the selector, app and then customer. For the port, this will be 80 and then 80. So basically, it's the exact same thing as this node port without the node port, and the type is cluster IP, right? So cluster IP. So let me just define the type as well. So this will be type and then cluster IP. So the default is cluster IP, but I always like to specify cluster IP in here. And there we go. So now let's go and apply the customer deployment and front-end YAML. So here, let me just say kubectl get pods, so you know what we have in our cluster. There we go. So now let's just apply. So apply and then customer deployment. There we go. We have a new service. So kubectl get svc. Oops, svc. There we go. This customer right here is what the front end will use, right? So here is this guy in here. Let me close this, go back. Now let me clear the screen and I'm going to apply the frontend.yaml. There we go. Apply and create it. So if I say kubectl get pods, and check this out. So we have front end in here. So we actually have only one instance. Let's change that to 2. So open up frontend.yaml, scroll to the top, and then here, let's just say replicas, and then 2. Save that, go back, and then apply again, front end. There we go. And if I say get pods, there we go. We have now 2 up and running. So now let's go ahead and access our application. So here, remember, we have this service of type load balancer. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type kubectl get and then svc. Have a look. So front end, and then we have the external IP, and this is pending. So this is pending. So this is really important. And remember, I said that because we're running Kubernetes on Minikube, we need to run Minikube tunnel in order to get this external IP, right? So here, what we're going to do is the following. Let me just clear the screen, and I'm going to open up a new shell, just like that. And now I'm going to type, or actually, let me just say here, get svc, and then -w. So now this is watching for any changes. And here I'm going to say Minikube and then tunnel. And check this out. So you saw that we immediately got an external IP, right? So have a look. So before it was pending, and then as we typed Minikube and then tunnel, we got this IP right here. So let me just first add my password. There we go. And now we are all set, right? So now let's just take this external IP, right? So 127.0.0.1, and let's open up our web browser. And in here, I'm going to paste that, and check this out. You can see that we have this beautiful front end, and let me just zoom in a little bit. There we go. Or actually just a little bit out. So here you can see that we are basically getting the same JSON that we've been working throughout this course. So you can see data coming from customer microservice, and we have name James, male, address UK, Jamila, female, address US, Bilal, gender M, address Spain, for example, right? Now, what's interesting is if I view order, check this out. You can see that. So if I put this smaller, you can see that James has 2 orders. So item apples, item bananas, and Jamila, she's got 1 order, item and then water. And then Bilal has 0 orders. And you can see data coming from order microservice via customer. So which means that we have a service of type load balancer that talks to a cluster IP service to fetch some data. And then we have another microservice, which is customer, that talks to the order microservice yet via another service to fetch some data. And I can see that we have a full stack application deployed with Kubernetes. So this is awesome. If you have any questions for what we've done in this section, drop me a message. Otherwise, catch me on the next one.